people like you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Whatever you do and whatever you start, don't give up. Keep moving. Do the best you can with what you got. And thank God for it.
Feel good about yourself and learn to know that you're God's child too. Black, green, gray, whatever you want to be, color you want to be. But you're God's child. And don't let nobody teach you nothing else other than that.
For people to know a little bit about where we are and about that community. So I've asked Felicia to share some about that and explain what CCDC is. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to...
Okay, so I know how to use a loud voice. Is this okay? All right. So my name is Felicia Miller, and I am the president of Clarksville Community Development Corporation. And Clarksville is a community that was founded in 1871 by my fourth great uncle, Charles Clark. Are many of you familiar with the Clarksville community? Have any of you guys been to the Haskell House? Yes? So my third great grandparents are Hezekiah Haskell and Catherine Haskell. And some of the things that CCDC offers, which is Clarksville Community Development Corporation, we currently have 11 properties where we house affordable housing for 17 families. One of the things that CCDC does is try to preserve the history of Clarksville. With so much gentrification that has gone on, and so many of the original descendants no longer living out there due to being pushed out. One of the missions that is our mantra and our mantle is to make sure that the community and that the city of Austin people know that Clarksville still very much exists. We have events that we currently try to make sure keep going, to make sure that the community is well conversed of things that's going on in Clarksville. Personally, my goal for CCDC is to not take away from all the hard work that my descendants, my relatives had put forward, and the ways in the past that they fought. But what I want to do is enhance and make sure that their legacy continues. You know, a lot of times when, if something isn't told, it's lost, right? Lost history. And with Clarksville being rooted and being brought up out there in Clarksville, I just made it a personal goal and mission to just make sure that I do all that I can to make sure that, you know, Clarksville still runs and still thrives. One of the things that I'm very proud of, knowing, I don't know if some of you know the history of Clarksville, but one of the things that I'm very, very proud of is that the forerunners before me, all that they fought for, you know, and all that they stood for so that Clarksville still could exist. Back in the early 1900s, that was during the time when they were trying to, the city was trying to move Clarksville completely out by MOPAC, right? And one of the things that the descendants did was, you know, they stood their ground. And as a result, they lost a lot. You had areas in Clarksville where paved roads was a thing in Austin, but it was deprived from Clarksville. Some houses still didn't have running water. Some houses still didn't have electricity. And it wasn't because that they couldn't have it, but they was trying to create an environment to force the people out of Clarksville. And so with a lot of sweat and brow, the people stood their ground, and hence, you know, Clarksville is still thriving today. And so I encourage anyone that has an interest to be involved in the community, no matter how big, no matter how small. I think everyone's voice matters when it comes to preserving history. I think it is important to know the history, especially of a freedom community that's in Austin, and especially in a day and a time like this with some of the younger adults. And so I encourage you to learn, get to know some of the history of Clarksville. Come on out there and meet us and see us. I do docent days where you can come out and I give oral history, give tours around the Clarksville area. And yeah, and I'm just excited to be utilized for the people of Clarksville. Does anybody have any questions?
I'm also a proud descendant of Clarksville, right, Mom? All right.
Love it. So we have scheduled tours every fourth Saturday and Sunday. But if you look on the CCDC website, we have a social media platform as well. Many times we're open on many Saturdays, not just that reserved Saturday. So yeah. All right. Anything else?
All right. That's it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
All right. Well, yay. I'm really excited. We made it, y'all.
Mics and all.
Mics and all. So I am beyond honored to be in conversation with two women who have just really inspired me so much, and their grace and wisdom, and you know, just kind of welcoming with me with open arms. So I'm family now. Y'all not gonna be able to get rid of me. Okay, so to begin, I would like to, I'm going to let them kind of introduce themselves, but I will say again that this is Mrs. Vessie Tutt.
Right.
And Mrs. Floris Sorrells, who also goes by Miss Flo. Many people may know of their TikTok and Instagram fame, just like they stole our hearts. They stole the hearts of many on social media, and there's more to come with that. Hopefully, people are like wanting to know when they can see you more, and they're wanting to do like a cooking with Miss Vessie and a ask Miss Flo relationship advice. Are you down for that, Miss Flo? All right. So, but why we're here is to talk to them about their communities that they grew up in. They really have guided us and brought us into their communities, and the way they hold on and preserve the stories is just phenomenal. So we want to learn more about that and what inspired them to do that. So the first question I have for you both is just if you could just tell us a little bit about the community you come from, and anything else that you kind of want to share about yourselves so we get to know you a little better. And I'll start with, you want to start, Ms. Flo? Okay.
Well, let me tell you, my name is Floris Sorrells. They call me Flo for short. But I grew up in Manchaca, Texas. If anybody know what Manchaca, Texas is?
Yeah.
All right. It used to be nothing but the woods, country, like, and you would have to, if you was traveling around Manchaca, you would have to, if you meet a car, you would have to stop and let the car pass,
Ooh.
and then you would go, because the roads was very narrow. But right now, we're in the city right now. But I walked those roads to school when I was young. We had no buses because we lived in the woods. So we would walk to school in the mornings and walk back home in the afternoon. That was fun to us. But reason why we like to walk in the afternoon, because during the winter months, that's when all the turkeys and ducks and stuff is around and laying the eggs in the woods, and we would come along and pick up the eggs and take them home and tell Mom how many eggs we got. Because depends on how many eggs we got, that means we would get some cake cooked. Because she would cook the eggs, cook the cakes out of those eggs, because those eggs were very rich. So we enjoyed doing that. So as we grew up, My dad had a farm. I worked the farm. He had a garden. I worked the garden. And I still have that in my mind.
Mm.
I followed my parents around and see what they were doing. I guess I was very nosy. But it's like this. I was very nosy, but when the older people come up to talk,
Mm.
my mama would give me an eye. It was a lot of us. It was, first of all, let me tell you how many it was of us. It was 14 of us.
Mm.
I am the 5th girl and the 9th child. And all of them deceased but
But
me.
her, yeah.
God left me He left me here to do something.
Mm.
So I'm just proud about God has given me strength. I still kind of in my right mind. I hadn't forgot that yet. But I just enjoy life. And I enjoyed what I come up with. Because being with older people, they taught me a lot. And I wasn't the person that just stray away. I wanted to see what's going on. Like I said, I was nosy and I wanted to know what's going on. So right now, at that Manchaca, I used to follow my mom and my dad to the cemetery. And I would just watch what they do. So right now, most of all of my family is buried in that cemetery, but I can't walk away. And I just thank people right now how much donation they have given me to help me with that cemetery. It's nothing but a blessing. But that's what I do right now is take care of that cemetery. And that's my second home.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't feel like going, but I still go. I love going. But I don't have to walk. I got a gold car now. I just drive onto the cemetery, put my hose and rakes and shovels or buggy, whatever I'm going to use up at that cemetery, whatever I'm going to work with, and I enjoy doing it. So that's really my life right now. But I didn't finish telling you where I grew up at. I grew up there in Manchaca. So I enjoy going back, doing whatever I need to do because we got property, about 140 some acres of land. I work at the cemetery and then I go over there on the property. I help fix fence.
Yes.
We got cows. I help put out hay. I help haul hay. I just gotta keep myself active. But this is the way I grew up. And I have not forgot it, and I want to keep going strong.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Flo. And again, you can keep that one. Brown Cemetery. We encourage you all to come out. Tell me, Jenna, the road. Yes. Twin Creek Road in Manchaca. And through our research, we learned that it's Bear Creek and Rose Colony. It was kind of a freedom community that then kind of got incorporated into Manchaca. So yes, a lot of beautiful property, and we're so proud of the work. Sometimes Miss Flo is like roping headstones, and she's taking us to their property, and Fumi and I have to take a breath, and she's lapped us 3 times. So she's no joke when she says that she's doing all that stuff. All right, Miss Vessie, same question for you. If you could tell us a little bit about your community.
Yes. The community that I was born in was St. John Colony. That's one of the freedom colonies. This is where 14 heads of families came to this area because of Reverend John Wynn, who came first of all to check it out and try to find some property that the slaves could come to after they were freed. Those 14 families were selected, my grandfather being one of those 14 family heads. His name was Andrew Jackson Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a very smart man. He took care of the goats for the slaves, for the masters, as they called them. But when he came to St. John, he started gardening and doing other things and raising cattle and as also raising pigs, goats, and whatever. But I was born in that area when I was 3 years of age. Well, before we left going to Seguin, my mom and dad, we would go to St. John Church, and Mother would put a quilt on the floor under the pew, and we would go to sleep there because it was all day long church. We went to Sunday school, we went to morning service, we went to afternoon service, we went to evening service.
Wow.
And they had no easy roads to drive on. They were going on roads that were dirty and dusty and messy, but they had lanterns that they pulled with the wagons so that you could see as you rode down the road. But I will never forget that, even though I was only 3 years old when we left there going to Seguin, Texas. My dad was called to the ministry, and he went to Guadalupe College to learn his trade. And we moved to that little place. Now, last Sunday, well, the 15th of February was my birthday. On my birthday, my son had someone to take pictures of things that were happening on that day, the 1926, February 15th. Okay. Everything that was going on then, you'd be surprised how little you paid for a car, how little you paid for a home, and how little you paid for a lot of things. But we'll never get back there anymore. I know that. So I don't even expect that to happen anymore. But we lived in Seguin until my dad was called to the ministry in San Antonio at St. Luke Baptist Church. And later on, he was called to a church in Austin, David Chapel Baptist Church. Then he organized Mount Calvary Baptist Church on S.L. Davis Avenue. They named the street for my dad when he passed, because he was the pastor of 12th Street. Because as he went down the road, every time he'd go to church, he would be doffing, as like we used to say, doffed. When I was a little girl in school, where they'd say, instead of tipping your hat, they'd say you doffed your hat. That means tipping your hat to the people as you passed by them. And everybody respected him because they loved him, because he didn't make them feel little. Those people who lived on the streets and did things on the streets that were not very nice. So, but my life in Austin, when we first came there, it had rocky road. And I had to go to church on Sundays, and we had to wear stockings. When I was 12 years old, we had to wear stockings to church. And because they never made stockings the color of us, I'd soak them in coffee.
Oh, wow.
And then sometimes I would take grease. It would be sometimes bacon grease, and rub that grease on my stockings. And that would change the color of them to my leg color. And one day I thought I was looking so cute going to church. I stepped on a stone that kicked up dirt. And dirt was all up and down my stockings. But I still thought I was looking pretty cute. But life was just as great as it could be for us as children, even though we were preachers' children. People thought we were supposed to be better than all other children. We're not supposed to do anything that's not good. But we were children like everybody else's children. And we'd slip and go to the movie, Harlem Theater on 12th Street. And my dad, he wouldn't let me get in the house once I came in. And at that time, I had gotten married because my husband was in service and he had gone overseas, and my dad was angry because he said, you should be praying for your husband. He's over there fighting the war and you are going to movies. And of course, that's some of that talking that they do to you when you young girl. Back then, they don't do all of that now. But I can say that we were brought up, never went to jail, even though we were kind of bad sometimes. But we never went to jail. We never got in trouble. We came through all of our lives, and I'm now still so that I'm 100 years old and never went to jail. So you can't say all black children go to jail. That's a lie. Don't let nobody tell you that. That's a big, fat lie. Because we all are good people, and sure, we get in trouble like every other child. Our children got in trouble. But my husband, who's sitting on the front seat here, was military, and we traveled quite a lot. We've been to Africa, and my husband went to Germany, and I couldn't go because of the fact that some places, because he was a security police, and I couldn't go to some of the places he would go. But I would be the mother, the father, the keeper of everything at home while he was away. And we finally had a chance to move back to Austin area. And my husband had never been around cattle before. We came home one year and my brother met us at the airport. And if I'm talking too long, y'all just tell me. I don't mind being stopped. But
No, we're
okay.
learning.
And my oldest brother came to the airport, and he had his shoes all muddy looking. And my husband asked him, said, "Are you a cowboy?" So from then on, when we finally settled down and my husband retired, we moved to Austin, bought a place in Austin on Manor Road, stayed there until 1970. We moved from Austin around about 84. We moved to Austin, to St. John Colony. I made a round trip to the place where I was born. I came back to where I was born. Even though I'm living in Cedar Creek, which is, I'm only 3 miles from where my church is, St. John Colony. And there is no place like St. John. I'm going to tell you guys, because God smiles on St. John. He smiles. He never lets anything terrible happen to that place, because he knew what the people had gone through before they got there. So he smiled on us. When John Wynn came and got that property, he got 100 acres of land. The church is situated on 10 of those acres of land. We built a church, a school, 19th of June area, and we now have a museum that we brought up from the ground. The roof had fallen in, and we sent out letters to people, and they contributed to the cause. and we were able to make it into a museum. We've got nice little things in there, that pieces that have been around for many, many years. Families who have been around for many, many years, pictures are on the walls. And if you ever come down to St. John, we'll teach you and let you know how love works. We all love each other. And right now, that place is, you can't ask for a better place to live. And I'm going to stop talking because I know you want to ask some more questions. My mouth is shut up.
Thank you so much.
Shut up.
One of the things that we've been so excited about through your videos and just talking to you both is the amazing food you make, like in the old ways. As a matter of fact, I know we have videos with both of you all making cornbread your way. And when we were getting ready, I was talking to Miss Flo about cornbread, and she said, how do you make yours? I was like, well, Jiffy, number one. And I'd never seen Miss Flo so mad at me. She was disappointed. She's like, you don't make it from scratch? I'm like, no, ma'am. So I would love to kind of hear first. I was asked to ask you specifically about butter, making butter. And that's something you learned as a child. And then Ms. Flo, I'm going to ask you about ice cream. And then we'll talk a little bit about cornbread. And then a few more questions. Then we're going to open it up to everybody else. Okay? All right.
Okay.
So would you like to start?
About the
Butter.
butter.
Mm-hmm.
The butter we had one cow in the backyard in Austin.
Oh, wow.
You don't do that anymore. One cow, and she would give the milk, and she had a little calf also. And my mother would be the one to milk the cow. And when we would come home from school, there was a churn. It was like crockery. You see crockery, the churn, and took a broomstick. We take what you have and make what you want. Situation. Okay, we put 3 prongs on that end of that stick. You turned up and down in this manner. Clabber milk that has come just about sour enough to make butter. So you keep churning, and like they always say, the butter will always come to the top. You keep churning until that butter came to the top. You skim that butter off the top. And that's when we got to know about the cornbread too, because we put that butter on that cornbread and a little jelly my mother had made from peaches. And we drank the buttermilk with that. You churn that butter, okay?
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say for
Oh, I'm
you.
sorry, you have your own mic.
Okay, and Miss Flo, I know. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Miss Flo. I know that you all had. So will you explain real quick to everybody? So on your family farm, it was like you had your father's siblings also had land, and so some people had the cows. Is that correct? Some people had different things, and so you all kind of would work together. Do I have that correct? And I know. Okay.
Yes, on our land we did have cows. I guess if I can remember, we had a whole lot of cows. And it was just really fun to learn how to go out and milk that cow. And we would go and milk the cow, but we wouldn't take them. At that time, they knew how much milk came from each cow. And we would get in trouble because if we're going to milk at least 5 cows, we should take back home at least 3 gallons of milk. But what we done, we didn't take all that milk back. We drunk it.
Oh.
We didn't put it in the bucket. When we done, we put our mouth up under that cow's tit and milk that cow's milk in our mouth. And see, at that time, we got in trouble with that because my mom would know that we should have more milk to come to the house because she would put that milk in the freezer, like she says. You got to get that cream off of that milk to churn to make that butter. And she would lack it of getting cream to make her butter because we done drunk up the milk before we got back home. We drunk it because it was warm. Coming from that cow, it was warm. But most all I can say, we just got in trouble. And we knew we was gonna get in trouble, but we did it anyway, just being mischievous children.
Well, how often did y'all have ice cream?
Okay. Our ice cream, you got to make a custard. When you're gonna make homemade ice cream, you got to make a custard. If I can remember, my mom would get that cream off of that milk. She did that cream off of that milk to make that custard. When she made that custard, I believe that she put that milk on the stove and did it hot. Somehow or another, she make that flour like you're gonna make a homemade banana pudding. I don't use nothing instant. I don't use nothing. All of my stuff is gonna come from scratch because that's the way I was raised. So my mom would continue to make that custard. When that custard get thick, she would cool it off. Then she would put it in that bowl. You know, it's not named a bowl, but the thing that she's gonna put off into the churn to make the ice cream. Okay, once she put it on there, you put a top on there, and then what you do at the time, you used to have ice come in a block of ice. I mean, years ago. They would take that ice pick and they would chisel. And what they would do is chisel that ice and put it all around that ice cream, in that ice cream freezer. Then they would put a sack on top of that ice cream to keep all of that ice from melting so fast. And what you're gonna do once you put it in there, you're gonna churn it. You're gonna freeze it, churn it. But when it starts getting like this, you know it's almost ready. You can't churn it as fast. And that's the way you do that homemade ice cream with that butter come off of that milk, that you milk that cow.
All right, I know.
What you do, you go to the store and buy you a lot of cream, make you some custard, and freeze you some ice cream. I don't know if you can still find an ice cream freezer. Thing nowadays, it's all liquid. They're plugged. But see, I'm not used to that. I'm used to that churning that ice cream. It's better that way.
And you used to have fresh fruit on it as well? Or y'all would, I thought you said something about fresh fruit.
No, we didn't
No, you didn't do fresh fruit, okay.
No, we didn't put fruit in ice.
It didn't need it, did it?
No. We didn't put no fruit in no ice cream.
Oh, okay. I keep getting in trouble with Miss Flo.
This is at later days. These are later days.
Oh, got you.
When you come up, when you grow after 50 years, about 55 or 56, that's when you come up with that.
Oh, flavors.
Yes, that
okay.
kind of stuff.
Okay.
We didn't do that when we didn't do that back in the 40s. We didn't
Got
do
you.
it. No, that's something new.
Okay. Well, speaking of
Just like they made that Jiffy cornbread.
I told you I'm in trouble, y'all.
See, she's talking your
Don't
business.
mess with that.
Yeah.
Don't mess with that. You go to the store, you want some good cornbread. You go get you some flour meal, some lard or oil, some whatever kind of oil or butter, some eggs, and make you some cornbread.
Yes.
Leave Jiffy alone. Jiffy ain't no good for you.
Ooh, Flo. All right, thank you. So one of the things, and I'd love for you both to share this with us, and then we're going to open it up for questions. Is, and I'll start with you, Lizzie. I know when we met with you at St. John's Colony, and you had on this beautiful dress that was your grandmother's.
Yes.
Would you tell us a little bit about kind of that story and why that dress means so much to you?
Okay. Some time ago, when they came out to the colony, I said that morning, I said, I've got to go to the museum and I'm going to dress appropriately. So I go into this Ziploc bag and I pull out this dress that my dad gave me 40 years ago. He gave it to me about 40 years ago, and he said, Wes, you look so much like my mother. I can't give this dress to nobody else but you, because you were the last child that she brought to this world. She was a midwife.
Mm-hmm.
That dress was made by her by hand. She had wore that dress long enough for it to become tattered and torn in different places and faded and whatever. But I cherish that dress because that meant that dress, if I'm 100 years old, she had, say, 15 years, 10 years, because they wore clothes for many years. 15 years, that means that dress is over 120 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to wear that dress that day because I loved my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
I only saw her just a little bit before she passed away, but I do remember her. And when I feel like I want to be near her, that's what I put on. That's what I put on. Same way with one of my mother's dresses. I put on that too. Because I feel close to them at that time. And the day that I came there, I was 99 years old, and I was letting everybody know. I love my grandmother. I can't see her now, but I love what she touched, what she fixed, what she cooked. All of those things I remember, even at my age, when the age I was when she passed away.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And Miss Flo, similar question for you, because when we were making the cornbread, you had on your mother's red apron. And you were very proud. She told us about that. What does that apron mean to you? You know, what is the connection, obviously, with your mother? You know, how is that connected to just everything you do?
If I can remember, I do believe she made that, but they never had machines to make nothing with. They sewed everything by hand. And I can remember my mama, she loves an apron. And I kept my mom 5 years before she passed. And a lot of her stuff that she left, like house coats and stuff like that. I like the stuff like this. And aprons. And she always had a red apron. And I got that red apron. And that red apron means a lot to me because she made it, but she never would make anything without pockets. She always had to have pockets. Because she would keep a rag, a towel, or whatever she carried with her. She always had it in that apron pocket. So I cherish that red apron. Sometimes I take it to the cemetery. When I take it to the cemetery, I just put it on and walk around in the cemetery. Because I know that apron has been in that cemetery because it belonged to my mom. So that is the story about my mom's red apron.
Oh, thank you.
Some things you don't get rid of.
No.
Yes.
You hold on to
No.
it as much as you can.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, at this time, we wanted to open it up for if anybody has any questions. Okay, you have one?
I could talk loud.
Okay.
Hi, thanks for talking to us. I was just curious. You said there's some things you don't get rid of. Are there things that you used to do as a child, like little habits or things that you do still now?
Did you hear
Like
the
for
question?
me, we made a car, my brother and I. My brother and my other sister and I, because we called it Hugo. We went down to the dump and we got 10. In the dump also, at the dump, we also found some wheels. We put wheels and we bent that 10 just like the Volkswagen. We was first made the Volkswagen. We made the first Volkswagen in 1932. So those were things we did. We played marbles. We took the tops off of milk. We used to get milk, the milkman would bring the milk and put it on the steps at the house at the front door. And it had a cardboard like top to it. We wet it down and we collect those tops. We didn't have no toys like other kids. We collect those and then we get ready to play tops. And we slap one down, and if you could slap on top of mine, you get both of them. That was our games. We made our own games.
All right. Did you hear the question, Ms. Ford? Okay. Thank you. Will you repeat the question again? Is what some of the games or things that they did as children? Or?
Yeah, like what you guys did as children or what you guys did as children and still do now.
Oh, okay. So things that some of the things you did as a child or things you did as a child that you still do now. But I can also say there's a story you share with me about y'all got in trouble, but something to do with drinking the berries or something you were doing. You know what I'm talking about?
When I was drinking.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, as a child,
Put it to me. Yes, ma'am.
let me tell you, my dad used to make wine. He used to make wine. You see them green grapes growing on the vine up at the cemetery. That's what he would go and pick all of his red grapes. He would pick them grapes, and he had this big old crock where he'd make that wine. He would put yeast in those grapes. When you put yeast in those grapes, after he get through mashing them down, you get all the juice, and then you put it over in that crock, and then you put yeast in there. As long as you let that yeast stay in there, the better that wine would be. Okay. I got in trouble, my brother got in trouble because we stole some of the wine.
Uh-oh, y'all always stealing.
So what happened was, my dad asked us where we had been. And my brother said, we've been out there in the garden picking okra in the garden. And he kept on looking at us, and he could tell us we was lying. And he says, y'all sure that's where you been? And I said, yeah, that's where we been. He said, no, you're telling me a lie because y'all been in my wine because I see it on your mouth. We done wasted it. We done wasted it on us. And we didn't really get whipping about it, but we got blessed out real good for stealing my daddy's wine.
Yeah, I remember you saying we're hiding, trying to jump in the trees or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he was going to whoop us, like I really know the things I would do. I know I needed a whipping, but you know what I would do? Them trees. We climb trees. You're talking about gonna climb some trees. We climb trees if we can get a whipping. And I just love trees. But I still know how to climb that tree, but I did climb a lot of trees to keep from getting a whipping when I was growing up.
let me tell you about some stealing. She's talking about some stealing. We used to go up on 18th Street there in Austin, and these people had all of these fruit trees in their yard, and we would get some of them. And the parents, the people that owned the place, they would let us have some sometime, but we had to ask for them. We went and got them without asking, and she reported it to my dad. There were 10 of us then, and my dad lined every one of us up and asked us, did you steal some peaches off of the so-and-so's tree? And I don't know nothing about it. Everybody don't know anything about it, okay? Okay, if whoever told, they got the whipping first.
Mm.
Then the rest of us got a whipping too. So that meant if you don't tell, you get a whipping. If you do tell, you get a whipping. My dad didn't stop until he had a razor strap.
Mm.
Now, that razor strap was about that wide and about that long. And he would whack you 2 or 3 times, or either bring me your head.
Ooh.
He'd have you to come to him, and he could thump you as hard as you could get thumped on your head for doing things you had no business doing. They really meant what they were parents, that they were responsible for our well-being. And if we did anything out of line, you gonna get it. Like we got some chickens out of the yard one day, and Mama went to prayer meeting. And we took the chicken and wrung his neck, went in there and fried him. The neighbor told on us.
Wow.
We got it again.
Wow. I thought having to go pick your own switch was tough. This is. Oh, were there any other questions?
Yeah.
Oh, 2. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, you mentioned Clarksville and St. Johnsville, and my sister said with some Pensionville. Are there any other free places, and did that communicate with each other?
Yeah, to my knowledge, there is at least 15, and we're finding more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the question was like, yeah, did you all interact with some of the other freedmen communities? Visit?
We do interact by churches. We visit churches. Our church is invited to your church, and your church will invite somebody else, and we always kind of, but it's not, at that time, we are not talking about slavery and all of that kind of stuff. We're talking about the Lord then. And we are not involved in that. We have to step away from that because that keeps us down all the time. Mm-hmm. And the pastor would talk to us, there's a better day and there's a better time for all of us.
Okay. Thank you. Miss Flo, did you all ever visit other communities, especially in the South? Now, Antioch, right? You all.
Yes, we did a lot of visiting back those days. We did, and really on the first Sunday, Communion Sunday, we had dinner on the ground where everybody would bring all of their fried chicken. You could smell that fried chicken almost a block because the grease that had cooked it in. We would, on the first Sunday, I believe it was on the first Sunday, but we did visit a lot of churches. They would come and we would go to their places, and they would do the same thing for us on the first Sunday. And that's when they have all of that. Let me tell you what they would have on it. I mean, it not just 2 tables. You're talking about big tables. With some of them are homemade tables where they got fried chicken, you got greens, you got beans, you got cornbread, you got everything that you grew out there in that country, and they done cooked it on that first Sunday. They gonna come and bring it to you.
That's right.
And it's all out there for you to eat on that first Sunday. And what you talking about, a hallelujah time, let me tell you, the older people ate first. The
Right.
children ate last. But still, we had plenty to eat. It just wasn't no food. You're talking about food that HEB would cook back in them days. I mean, homemade cooked food.
Mm-hmm.
And beans and greens was out of sight.
And I know, did y'all go to school with folks from Antioch Colony? I know there was, y'all spent time with each other, right? Antioch or no?
Beautiful.
Oh, Buda. In Buda, okay. And I also know, I think that's a wonderful question that, for example, South Side, I also know is Brackenridge, like off South Congress. That community, there was a time when they didn't have school. And so the children would come to Clarksville for school. So things like that happen. And then I know, for example, in Clarksville, some of the main folks that fought a lot of the displacement that was happening, one of them in particular, Mary Brown, she was from Wheatville. So a lot of times they would move. And then I know like my ancestor, he lived in like 6 or 7 different freedom communities. So there would have been, they'd have like pageants and different things and they'd all come together that way. Okay. Jenna, and let me shout out Jenna who works with us, right? Miss Flo at Brown Cemetery volunteers her time, has put so many headstones back together and markers. She's a jewel, so we're happy to have her.
So this is actually specifically for Ms. Tutt. So your grandmother that you just talked about, she was from Arkansas, right? The Wilson
Yes, yes.
So how did she come to down to Texas?
Okay.
How did she meet your grandfather? I would like to know more about your grandmother's history.
Okay, my grandfather came from Oklahoma, and my grandmother came with it doesn't ring bell right now. I better not say because unless it's the truth, I don't want to make up something. But I want to say maybe you are related to me. Can you answer that question?
You know, I don't know specifically, but a
Yeah.
lot of them came from when they were enslaved.
Uh-huh.
And because they did not, in the North, you know, in the North they were trying to do away with slavery. And then in the South they could, especially, you know, Texas still, slavery was still on. So they would actually pack up their entire plantation of slaves and haul them.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Oh,
wow.
But that's how a lot of people.
Yeah. Some of them. I know some came from Weberville, and all of those areas around there because they had slaves right here in Texas, just as much. And I've seen the sense of slaves myself because I worked for $3 a week, and the woman tried to feed me what her husband had eaten and spit up and tried to give it to me, and I got my purse and went home. No. Because they at that time they were treating people so badly. We are all human beings, and I wish we could all love one another like you love your brother or sister. You wouldn't let nobody hurt you. Don't let nobody hurt you. Feel good about yourself and learn to know that you're God's child too. Black, green, gray, whatever you want to be, color you want to be. But you're God's child. And don't let nobody teach you nothing else other than that. I got to say that. I'm old and I can say that.
Thank you so much. I think that's good. A good segue into the last question, and we can start with you, Ms. Flo. Is any, words of wisdom you'd like to share, and also, if you could tell us why it's so important to know your history to know, to keep your traditions. And as you've taught me the old ways, like why is it important to hold on to the old ways? And then there'll be the same question for you, Miss.
Let me say, I come a long ways and still got to go. A little fun. All I want to say right now, life is important. Whatever you do, always treat people with respect.
That's right.
With
That's
respect.
right.
Because this
That's
is all my dad. I say my dad all the time because my dad's dad was a slave. And he taught me what his dad taught him. Treat people like you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Whatever you do and whatever you start, don't give up. Keep moving. Do the best you can with what you got. And thank God for it.
I hang on to what she said already. I've been through the bad times. And I remember sitting on the back end of the bus. I can remember something happening on the bus and everybody had to scatter to keep the police from arresting you. I've had to do that right there on 12th Street in East Austin. I know what it is to be going through bad stuff. But I tell you what, though you slay me, though you're angry with me, I still love you because you're God's child. And that's the way I try to treat everybody that way. I might not be in your house every day, like people want to come and visit you all the time, but if I see you need, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to be there for you. And that's what we all need to be in this day and time more than ever before. Stand for what's right. And they got a movie there out now called Stand. And if you can't stand for something good, don't stand for something bad. Because you don't get a good ending when it's bad.
Thank you for those words. And I think in the moments we're in right now, they resonate even more than ever before. So thank you all. Thank you for your time, your wisdom, your grace. And thank you all for being here.
Amen. Amen. We thank you for sitting and listening to us.
All right.
Because sometimes we don't get a chance to tell our story. But this is our story and this is our song. And we want to tell you about it because we want you to be brought up a different way. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you all.